Right, I've been embroiled in some internet controversy. I know, it's very strange of me. But this time I refuse to write out essays in the comment section and be misread and misunderstood and all sorts of yeah. So I went, you know what? I'm gonna make a video. I'm gonna write out my argument. I'm gonna have it very clearly in front of me, which I haven't done. But anyway, I'm still on the fly here, but we'll pull it together. So anyway, Jordan Rivers, fantastic comedian. I think he does acting as well and some other cool things. He did a great video on Luxon captaining the Titanic as it went down. And if you haven't seen that, oh, it is pain. Anyone that's been around corporate will just know it's so painfully true. You know, like fluffy words with nothing under them. Oh, painful. Anyway, yeah, so he posted a meme, I suppose it would be, and I went, look, this is just shallow and it needs a bit of depth, you know, like I don't think that the thinking was quite well aligned. But anyway, so I commented and he said, go on then. So here we are. But anyway, let's look at this meme. Right, so me trying to explain my political ideology to people using scary words like communism, socialism, decolonization. First of all, communism and socialism, if you know history, are scary words. Like, they killed tens of millions of people, you know, minimum. Mao's China, Soviet Union, Cambodia, you know, Argentina didn't end as bloody as it could have, but they had a bit of a hoo-ha. You know, like, it's never ended well. And it always, I think communism tends to collapse quicker than capitalist structures. Capitalism structures, they still collapse. I mean, we're watching America go through arguably a rapid reshaping, let's put it that way. But anyway, I'm not going to talk on decolonisation. My personal belief is, can we use re-indigenisation? Because decolonisation kind of wipes the table of any good thing that we've brought, like modern medicine, housing, you know, arguably transport, modern agriculture, medicine. You know, it kind of just wipes the thing and be like, okay, we just want to be on the land and live off the land, and which I'm all for. I have said many a time to a good friend of mine, I will be right there with you, brother. But decolonisation is as someone with British, you know, roots, I suppose, it just says to me, you didn't bring a single good thing, piss off. And it's like, well, okay. But re-indigenisation says, okay, we were actually a little better back the way we were. And can we move that way? And can we emphasise the good parts of living closer to the land, in tune with nature, closer to your food source, all those things, which I am all for. I think re-indigenisation has a positive future to it, where decolonisation has like just a bitter resentment towards the past. You know, like, is that fair comment? That's all I'm going to say on that, because good God. But anyway, now down to the picture. We have apes together strong. Correct. Like, people strong, standing together strong has never been a bad thing. And right now we have a very fractured society with everyone just going out for their own little piece of this earth. And it's not gone well. You know, we have to come to the fact that there are people born across a spectrum with a range of abilities, and we need to find a way of being, a healthy way of being for all those people. All of them. You know, not everyone's a rocket scientist, not everyone's, you know, a politician. Please, dear God, we don't need more of those. you know, we need to find a societal level that can support everyone. And right now, the hamster wheel's going a bit fast, you know. And people like me, hey, I'll work 80 hours a week, see if I care. Built for it. But I also realise that not everyone can do that. And why am I just racing to the grave? And the hamster wheel's getting so fast now that people have fallen off left, right, and centre, and it's not good. And as much as I want to race ahead and do all this cool stuff and build things, and I have to move with everyone. That's something that I keep pretty near and dear to my heart. The fact that, you know, like, as a society, if we all just picked the medium pace of the individual, like the middle class pace, and moved a little faster than that, just so we're ahead of them, things would be so much better. Anyway, that's a pretty deep chat. I hope people followed along. Like, I can go over this more if people want to, but yeah, like, I'm for morality. Like, individualism has done horrible things to us, and we've had 70 years of peace. That inevitably happens during peacetime. For some bizarre reason, everyone thinks they don't need their mate by their side. It it's just the human psyche thinking we're all just gods waltzing around in our little areas of control. And it takes a bit of chaos, a bit of war to realize how small you are and how weak you are by yourself. I just hope we pull it together before we see the full extent of that. But anyway, so I think, like, you could sum up 90% of these comments are confusing the thing. They're confusing the two things. Morality versus the political spectrum. You know, a governing structure of a country versus individual people, the cohesion of individuals in that country itself. Because you can have legalistic communism or legalistic capitalism. Well, essentially, we've got legalistic capitalism right now. But even then, you can see the attempt to balance that, because everyone in the court of law is judged by a jury of their peers, which brings the morality aspect. That's why we do it. I mean, that's a great thing the colonial influence has brought, is a justice system that tries to balance a hard legalism, black and white line. You cross this boundary, and now XYZ happens, versus the morality that says, hold on, that person had a horrible upbringing. The 50,000 things that led up to that crossing of the line, they actually matter too. And it's up to us as humans to weigh on if he's guilty or not. You know, and society is having moral questions now. I mean, the most famous one will be Luigi Mangione. That's essentially that's a moral question on a global scale. Does one man running an absolutely abhorrent business that tens of thousands of Americans suffered under because of the deny rate and all the stuff that's come out, does that warrant killing him? I mean, legalistic says absolutely not, murder's murder, end of. Moralistically, it's like there's 50,000 shades of grey behind that question. You know, and ultimately, it's still wrong on a moral level. Like, you should be able to articulate your argument well enough so that you can confront that person with a well-tuned, and the ultimate argument is this plays out badly in the future. You know, eventually, because it always leads to violence. There's been this stupid idea amongst society that we've evolved past violence. It's like, oh God, you couldn't be any further from the truth. We are violent. Like, stress anyone, Stress them enough, and they will act out in the most wild ways. And then you put them in this pressure cooker of capitalism and whip them for all the worth 40 hours a week, and then you throw alcohol and a bit of coffee and all this fast food, horrendous diet stuff, and eventually someone's going to do something stupid. And I think violence is now back on the table. We're seeing an increase of it. It's not good. It's not good at all. But it's because we haven't formed our discussions well enough, or we've not had them at all, which is also horrendous. Like, morality is the act of seeing where something goes in the future and jumping on it then. Like then. In a relationship you do it, in a business you do it, in everything. I've done it with friends. I've done it with male friends. I've been like, dude, this ends badly in the future. Fix it now. Well, it's small and you can laugh about it, because once you can't laugh about it, it gets real sticky. So, yeah, some of these comments just blows me away. Like, where was the one-sided communication? If someone's going to listen to me, then a one-sided monologue podcast is communication. A knobcast. I'm trying not to be. Vic. I can laugh at that. Just what the world needs. Another podcast for a guy who doesn't care about his fellow people. I care immensely about my fellow people. That, again, not even listening for my argument, just firing off a quick fire, you're an idiot type thing, which just speaks to, the lack of anything. And see, here, Christian but doesn't support communism. Not very Christian. I read that and wild accusation. Like, wild, because it's got nothing to do with that. Like, if you imagine like a cross, like a cross, and you've got legalism, morality, and then you've got capitalism and communism each side forming a cross. So ultimately, you want to be in the center of that. A balance between rewarding creation, communism, which is basically caring for, not giving up on people and fixing them when they need fixed, because we value their contribution in life and everything. And then you have this legalism, which is black and white, you're done. And then the morality, it all needs to be in this. I don't believe we should be picking one side of the communist capitalism. Both have their faults. Capitalism rewards narcissistic and, very dark-tried males that can just outwork everyone because that's all they know and that's all they can do. And then inevitably you're run by a bunch of people with no feelings at all, and it ends badly. Who would have thought? Like, capitalism has its ornate drawbacks. I'm more a fan of a monarchy. I actually think the monarchy. Now, I just lost a whole lot of people. I can hear them collectively groaning. But hear me out. Like, the king represents the capitalism side. Tools, we've got to build, we've got to basically create this empire. And then you've got the queen going, okay, cool, but let's not kill everyone on the way there. And let's chill out. Like, capitalism is a race to the grave, but communism is standing still till you die anyway. Essentially. So there needs to be both you end up dead in both. So there needs to be like this constant toing and froing and balancing, which a good monarchy can do. You know, all the successful monarchies balance those two things. And usually the king represents legalism, you cross the line, your head's going that way. And then the queen represented the more morality, oh, hold on, there's room for forgiveness here, there's mercy, there's all this sort of stuff. Let's not kill him because then he's not good for anything, but let's try and rehabilitate, or like I can't even really think in a left leaning. I'm on the right. I'm centrist. I'm centrist, but just like that much right, because I still believe that creation needs to be honoured, because it's why we're here. It's essentially why we're here. But I'm not so left, so far right that I'm like, wow, damn everyone else, we're going this way. Like we all need to stick together in a huddle, like apes who are strong together. Well, that was a wild. We covered a lot of ground. That's probably very dense, but I hope that covers why I said the meme was shallow. Like, I agree. Apes are stronger together, and we need to build a more moral culture. Don't ask me how we do that. Essentially, it's a religious idea. That's why we have the separation of church and state, but the church has done such an appalling job of challenging, the individualistic capitalism idea, and anyone that's tried is just, oh God, don't get me started on them or that man, because we all know who I'm talking about. But yeah, I wish we could do a better job, and I'm all for conversations about how we do that and how we reintroduce essentially the morality back in society without advocating for communism. Because honestly, read a textbook. Like read a textbook. Dostoevsky, Viktor Frankl, all those. Not Viktor Frankl, he was World War II, but Dostoevsky is the main one in Soviet Russia. It's just, yeah, it's a horrendous way to be. Anyway, that's enough about me. I'd love to continue this conversation. I mean, please share your thoughts, because my thinking is, I don't have any formal training and anything like this. This is just what I've watched the world and what I've put together as my ideas. So I don't think I'm so rigid that I'll defend it to my death. I'm just saying, like the name of the channel, this is a social discussion. This is how do we get back to a more moral, closer knit, depending on each other, and ultimately deglobalization will help this along, because our supply chains will get so much shorter. You will be going up the road for some carrots and all that sort of hoo-ha, because it won't be coming from overseas. So yeah, please join the conversation, the discussion. It's critical. We need to get this right.